Hi there! In this video, I want to talk to you about debugging in UiPath Studio, and we are going to cover the basic features, how to debug a workflow in UiPath. In short, all the features that you already know about debugging in other languages, they apply here. That means we can insert and remove breakpoints. We can step in workflows and see what is inside of that workflow. We can step out of that particular workflow. We can step over. We can retry the activity. In a sense, if a specific task or activity failed and you want to change the scenario and then retry only that activity, you can do that. We can also ignore specific errors and then just move on with the execution. And we can start from the beginning, all the process, and UiPath will restart everything. So let me jump to my UiPath Studio and I will start a debug and show you feature by feature in practice what they mean. First off, I am here in my UiPath Studio. I have this project open and I will check the breakpoints panel. And I will delete my breakpoints. If I want to insert a breakpoint, I can open the workflow that I want to check, right click, toggle breakpoint. And then I will see this breakpoint right here. Now I have one breakpoint in the very first activity and I will start debugging. And then in here, I can see where with this blue box is where the step is running, the debug is running. And then I can step into, which is going to step inside of this activity to those activities which allows us to go inside. Step over will jump to the next one. Step out will go out of this scope here and then go to the next activity. But since this is the main workflow, if I step out from here, we'll finish the execution. And I can also restart if I wanted. Ignore and retry options are enabled only when there is an error in the execution. First off, I will step over this task and also this one. The first step is reading an Excel file. The second step is opening the browser. Now I am in the third step. I'm just checking and the browser is open. The name is, notice the name, Thomas Buckley. Back to my UiPath Studio, I will step into. And now I am inside of this workflow. I will step into a few more times to get to this activity, get text. Now notice here on the variables on the left hand side, the three variables are new. I will step over and I can see the name here. I will step over again. I can see the phone and finally the email. Now I want to put another breakpoint here and I will hit continue. Continue will play the execution until it gets into another breakpoint. Notice that the name has changed. Now I am on the second iteration of this loop with a different name, and I will now close the browser because I want to create a problem. I want to create an error, and I will step over. and we got an error. Notice that on the output, let me fix this output here, we have an error, and the ignore and retry was enabled. I will open the browser and then click and retry. Now the browser is open again. The name has changed, but that doesn't matter for this test. And I will retry. See, the task already retried and worked. I can step over again. All right, now I will close again the browser. And I will retry. And I will step over again. It will cause another error. I see the second error here. It is the same that we got before. Now I'm gonna to open the browser once again. The information here has changed again, but that's okay for this test. However, I will ignore this error for now. So notice that the variable S name here is Marian McNamara. When I ignore the activity, the variable didn't change at all. And finally, I will remove this breakpoint from here, and I will step out. When I step out in the debug, I'm actually going to the previous scope, to the previous activity. In this case, it is the body of the do while. I will step out again. Now I am on the get fields sequence. I will step out again. Now I returned to the main workflow. I will step over and hit continue. It's going to finish my debugging session. That brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching and see you soon.